Hi everyone and welcome back to Ninja. My name is Tristan and this is our weekly Proximity Marketing and IoT News Roundup, and today we're going to talk about the Royal Caribbean cruise line and how they're using Bluetooth beacons to deliver drinks. And then we're also going to talk about how UPS screwed up and lost my phone and now it's out there somewhere alone and cold and alone and not with me. Today's news roundup is made possible by Amazon. We were recently invited to join the Amazon Influencer Program, which allows us to create lists of like Bluetooth, Beacon, and industry products on the platform. It just kind of makes everything a little bit easier to find, and it lets us showcase some of the products and the tools that we're actually using over here, ones that we want to use. Aside from some developer packages from different beacon manufacturers and some NFC stuff, I think probably the coolest and most valuable thing that we have on there right now are some of the books about how Bluetooth beacons work, how NFC works. They even have some guides in there about how to actually develop apps to interact with these devices, which is really cool. And so if you guys do want to check that out, there's a link to that in the comment section below, just because no one ever clicks on the description, so that's where we're putting those now. Also, if this is your first time here, if you'd like to sign up for our weekly newsletter, which contains about 25 pages worth of links to articles spanning all things Beacon and IoT, and to keep up to date on industry news that's the most important to you, you'll also find a link to that in the comments section. Now, our first story today comes from Yahoo Finance and talks about how Royal Caribbean is adding new technologies to their cruise liners. Now, they have some neat AR and VR projects, but what's most interesting to us is the way they're using Bluetooth beacons to deliver drinks. So what you do is you place an order via their app, and then the waiter, using a tracking program with a display built into their trays that shows your location and your face, and then they can just find you and they deliver your food or your drink or whatever. Now, the technology itself is pretty similar to what we've seen before as far as things like Target's in-store mapping project, which, if you're not familiar with it, helps customers to locate items on their shopping lists. So it isn't anything too crazy. I do think that the picture and actually having the screen built into the tray, that's kind of crazy. But as far as everything else, I mean, this is stuff that we've seen before, and it's just another way that we can use the technology. Now, if you are looking to do something like this, then the Estimote location beacons have this filter built into them. I haven't had a chance to play with them yet, but if any of you have, please share your experiences with them in the comments section, either with the Estimote ones or any other beacons. But doing this type of indoor mapping, I have a couple of clients that I'd like to offer this to, but I haven't really had a chance to dive into it, and so I'm curious to see what you guys have seen so far and what your thoughts are. Now, the second story that I want to talk to you guys today, it's not something that came from our news feed this week. It's a personal experience, and it's something I'm still very sad about, so we do need to change the music. We can't use something so upbeat, so let me fix that real quick. Alright, so shortly after my last video, my phone died. And it's been a long week without it, especially working in the field that I work in. You kind of need a phone. So I ordered a new phone off of Amazon, and I've been rather impatiently waiting for it ever since, and it was supposed to get here yesterday. And then they said it would be here today, and now they say they don't know when it's going to get here. And it's still not here. And so while refreshing the tracking screen of UPS every 5 minutes, without any change at all, I asked myself, what kind of asset tracking does UPS use? Now, one of the main large-scale uses of RFID and NFC, and now of course also including Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, is for tracking goods within warehouses and production facilities. The idea is pretty simple. You attach one of these tags to a package, like my phone, or a product, and then you can see how it moves through the production cycle and then on to delivery to the end client, me. Interestingly enough, UPS is actually still using a barcode scanning system instead of using any sort of tag or anything like what we talk about here on this channel. So instead of placing a tracking tag on these things, then what they do is they print out a barcode and they attach it to every package, and then that code is scanned at different locations as it makes its way to the customer. Now, the last time my phone was scanned was after the truck picked it up from the seller and was taking it back to the facility, and it was never scanned once it received the facility, so I don't know. So it's probably either somewhere in the truck still, or, I don't know. Now, there are some benefits and some drawbacks to things like this. And again, I'm not super involved in the logistics industry, so this is a very broad look, but UPS mentioned that they were handling about 1.5 million packages a day. And the cheapest tags that I could find on Alibaba were about a penny a piece. So you're looking at about $15,000 per day just in asset tracking. not to mention any sort of back-end infrastructure that you would need to actually track the packages, the hardware that you would need to scan the tags, and then also implement that into the website so that way people like me can go in and actually see where their products are. But even so, at about 1.5 million of these things a day at about a penny a piece, it's about $15,000 a day in that asset tracking. Now, of course, that's not exactly a ton of money to a company like UPS, and I'm certain that they could get even lower prices than that. But when I was looking into like the barcode stuff, then they were showing rolls of barcodes for about 80 cents a piece, and you're getting about 100 tags off for that, or 100 codes. So, I mean, the difference in price is pretty clear. And then after that, I started looking at how some other different carriers also do their asset tracking. And that kind of brought me back to projects like we were talking about Alibaba, where they use little robots to actually move the products around, and those robots are controlled by Wi-Fi. And so they can actually see where they are within the facility based on the strength of the Wi-Fi signal. I thought that was kind of neat too. So there's a link back to that video if you guys want to check that out. But, and this is pure coincidence, and I'm not like sponsored or anything by these guys, I got an email from Contact.io about a webinar they're holding next week with the guys from DHL, which is another shipping company, and they're going to be talking about this exact subject. So again, not sponsored, but Contact does have some really interesting webinars. The last one that I watched was on using Bluetooth Beacon and things like that for the health industry, so like putting them into hospitals and those kind of things. And it was really, really interesting. And so if you guys do want to check that out, if you want to sign up for that webinar, I'll put another link to that in the description as well, or in the comment section, excuse me. And so if you do want to learn more about how you can use IoT and those kind of resources for logistics and for asset tracking like this, definitely sign up for that. I think it's going to be a really educational and interesting webinar. And again, Contact guys, if you are watching this video, feel free to sponsor the next one. You have my email already. I've been bugging you guys for quite a while. And again, if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe to the channel in order to get notifications about future videos. Then also check out the playlist of videos that you should be seeing on screen right now. And we also have a newsletter archive going back to the very first week of September, and you can get access to that by signing up for the email newsletter. That'll do it for me though. My name is Triston from UtahSEO.Ninja, helping to connect the dots between businesses and customers. And I will see you guys again next week with some new tutorials that we've been working on. Really excited about it. So see you then!